Okay, welcome back to another session of Creating Art Over 70 with Science Rufus, Painting with a Passion. Okay, so what I did in between the last session and this session was I did some more in close detail work. I'm still struggling a little bit with the eyes. I'm kind of trying to get that art going. I think to capture that art with the brushes. So I might resort to the pencils a little later. I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to use the shaper tool in in conjunction with the brush strokes itself. Just laying down some fine pastel and just moving around with the shaper tool. I'm hoping that'll work. I haven't really done it like that. I've always used the shaper tool just to move and to merge and to press the pastels into the teeth of the paper. So I'm gonna try that in one session. But for this session here, I just wanted to talk about what I was doing there. And so I think I'm going to add some painting to this session as we go because I think I'll lower the table and I can work a little bit more about getting the highlights in this brighter area over here on this side of the face and hitting the ear a little bit and then coming down in this area. Working a little bit more on the actual background composition, laying a little bit more of that. I could do that so I can put in some painting so you not listen to me just talk about what I did. And I know how important it is to see what the person is doing as opposed to them saying what they did. Because, from my own experience, I used to listen to the instructors say, "This is what I did," da 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 da. But what gets lost in that translation is, the how they really did it. When they're saying, "This is what I did," or "This is how I do it," that's different. And so, if you're watching if you're watching the motion, then you really get to understand how it's being done as opposed to this is what I did. And so that's what I like about the painting portions of the sessions. So I want to get back into that some more so you can just follow along with this is what I do type of a thing. Okay, so that's enough said on this. Let's get busy. Okay, I'm gonna take a break here for a minute from this session of painting. I was doing a lot. I would have been talking a little bit, but the house is not quiet right now. So I just wanted to paint while I was feeling the paint, feeling the mood, and feeling the painting, and just try to explain a little bit what I tried to do there. What I was trying to do is start to really establish the lighting, the dynamic lighting. When I say dynamic lighting, let me explain what I'm saying. Dynamic lighting is because the definition of dynamic lighting, I think, is like um, lights and shadows with motion and energy and drama involved in it, right? So what I'm trying to do is just really take one element out of that dynamic lighting concept, meaning I just want to show the energy, and that's why I'm doing heavy violet or purple. That's supposed to be a strong energy color. So that's what I'm doing here with that. Um, There's still going to be a lot of blending going on. I'm going to have to start bringing in some shadowing to 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 add some contrast to this. So some lights and some dark, get some good contrast in it. I'm trying to figure out how to I proceed with that. But this velvet or purpley lighting going in here is seems to be working. I'm enjoying what's coming across with that. It seems extremely bright right now, but we'll see how it works when I start to bring in a little bit more of the shadow. And I think I'm going to have to darken the shadows a little bit on this side of the face so to really um, emphasize that light is bright, strong light. I'm not sure yet, so I'm playing with it, and also these eyes. I'm really struggling with the eyes with just the brushes and the shaping tools, and I'm really feeling this piece. I'm really feeling this piece, and I don't want to just leave it where I feel like I could have pushed it further and got in my opinion, a real more defined output. So I'm really thinking about bringing in some of the pencils, doing some pencil work just for the eye, just for the facial section here. Meaning, so I can really get some real deep, defined eyes and nose, and nostrils, the nose cavities, and the mouth. You know, to separate the lips. Because if you look at the reference here, let me pop my head out the way for a bit. You look at the reference here, he has some really good, strong depth in the line in the mouth. I have that, um, but it's kind of feeling it's not in a real strong, sharp, definite. It's not in a real like I have it, but it's not a real strong, definite shadows going in here. So I think I want to. I'm gonna hold off to I just feel like I can't you know call it a complete piece without interjecting the pencil work. I've gone quite a ways. I think, and I feel really good with what I've accomplished so far with just the brushes and the pan pastels. I don't know how to explain it. I've learned a lot going this far in this particular part of the journey, and I've gained a lot of information, I guess I should say, about my approach, the brushes I can use, how to lay down the different layers, how to lay down the different colors with the pastels, the tints, the values, all that going in. I've exercised it in this piece, and so anyway, I'm gonna think about it. So right now, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna stop for a bit and take a break, get some dinner, and chill for a little bit, and have some conversation, and then come back and do a little bit more. I'm not sure about the pencils yet. I think when I come back, I may do a little bit more in the hair to get some of the lighting going into the hair, so it won't look so like everything else is not illuminated, just the face got light, and that's not the case. That's not natural. So anyway, break time. Thanks for watching. Creating Art Over 70 with Science Rufus. Blessings. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Creating Art Over 70 with Science Rufus. Continuing on Jasir Pastel painting. Okay, I had a really long discussion and I kind of talked it over with my wife also. I'm like, I'm really struggling with trying to get the eyes working like I want them to work with just the pastel, the pan pastels, and the brushes. So I was talking to her, and I'm like, well, I did, it is my own challenge on myself. It's not like I'm being graded or anything. And the thing about this journey is we're going to have our successes and we're going to have our failures. And I just feel that at this point in my craft, my skill level is not quite there to be able to handle the intricacies of the eye portion of the anatomy with just the paint brushes and pastel. I imagine I probably could do it with oil or acrylic because that kind of goes with my flow. But I haven't done it, so I'm just speculating. So anyway, I said that to say this is that I'm going to still continue to take this as far as I can go with just the brushes and the pan pastels, and then when I think I have everything pretty much where I want it to be, then I'm gonna go in with the pencils and really tighten up the eyes, and maybe I'll probably drift down into the nose and mouth also. So anyway, so that's the plan. Let's get back to this and let's get busy. Thanks for watching. Yes, and that's truly another cool thing about art is you can challenge yourself. You can really challenge yourself, and not just art, but sometimes just life things in general. You challenge yourself with, and then when you reach a certain age, a whole lot of things become a challenge you don't even want to be a challenge. But I think if you go through life and you challenge yourself over the course of your lifetime, when you reach this age of 70, over 70, then the challenges be, easier to tolerate, I should say. Sometimes it's difficult to handle them, but we find a way to tolerate it. And some things we just seem to live with, it's like, ooh. So I think, I wasn't able to do it on this one. Even though I haven't picked up the pencil yet, I know it's going to happen. I wasn't able to do this portrait completely with pan pastels and brushes, but there's other times I can do it. I think I'm as I got into this, I started thinking like, oh man, this is, and I kind of saw that the eyes were going to be difficult early on, but I still wanted to push to see if I could still accomplish it. So yeah, it turned out it's not doable for me this go round. But I think that what I was noticing though is like I seem to be able to get it to a really nice quality level. So I might challenge myself again with like a still life or a scenic piece or something like an ocean piece or something like that, where if it's an area you can't get to, you can just have it look different. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It's not like an eye has to look a certain way for it to be an eye. You could paint a leaf or a flower or an ocean wave, and it doesn't have to look a certain way to be an ocean wave. So So I think I might challenge myself again, but doing one of those type of pieces, something other than a portrait. I know it's okay to stop at a certain point. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be photorealistic. I mean, you can stop at any point. I could do that at any point, any time. But it's like, why, why? Especially if you're enjoying the piece you're painting. It's like, oh man, take it. I think just take it as far as you can take it, because it's like, oh man. Oh yeah. One other thing I did, the last session is I changed the reference display. I thought it would be better side by side, and so it seems to work a lot better for me. And then I still have the iPad down here where if I want to zoom in on a certain area, I still kept that. But I just used the same. Camera that it's capturing the painting to capture the reference as well. Almost the whole workstation surface. So I like it. I like it better. So what I'm gonna do in the future, I was thinking about the setup getting ready to do the piece. Like I have the black and white reference printed out. As opposed to the digital. To print it out is nice. And so what I'm thinking, I might maybe print it out closer to the actual size of the piece that I'm getting ready to work on. And so that will help with the proportions. So the shapes that I'm looking at will be the same shapes that I'm laying down on the paper. And so I'm gonna do that the next upcoming piece. I watched a lot of the artists do that, and actually Rensno Art on YouTube that I talk about, this incredible artist. He does that. He has the reference like pretty much to scale that he's gonna paint the piece. And a lot of the artists out there, they actually like draw or trace an outline of the piece on the paper and then do their painting from there. That way you get all the proportions correct. I used to try all that. I tried that and doing the grid and all of that. I tried it, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. That's an incredible way to learn, and that's what they're doing. They're teaching people the craft. So they use the grid, they use projection, they use the outline traced onto the paper, all that. So I like to paint. When I sat down and I challenged myself and I crossed that hurdle, I was like, oh, this is nice. So, but I did all that stuff too to learn to really what I mean learn to really understand what it was I was looking for in my skill set. Because the reality is that's really enough to do some really nice, incredible work. And you watch the artists do it, you see. But yeah, it's. I still follow where the painting is taking me. I really like that. It just feels like when I do that, go with the flow of the painting. It seems to put me so in touch with it. It's like I'm connected to it. I don't know of another way to explain it other than it's like that connection. And so for me, it's if I listen to it, the guidance is good. It's turned out relatively well. Of course, I'm still learning. It's funny, I'm supposed to be on taking a break, from recording, but here I am, still recording. Yep, still recording. Yeah, it's just so much fun. The whole process, I'm really and truly enjoying it. The whole process, the painting process, the recording process, The editing, I probably could do without it, but I'm enjoying it, learning how to streamline the process. And that's what I do. When things are kind of tedious, I try to find a way to challenge it. I tell you, sometimes a piece will just fight you. Sometimes not ready to come. So what I do when I can't get it right there, what I want, I move on to another section of the piece and work on that until, and I keep looking back on what I'm doing and what I'm working with, what's giving me the trouble or the difficulty. Yeah, so this particular one, I'm really struggling with the eyes. They're not coming in. I keep seeing the shapes, but I'm having troubles with the proportions. Sometimes, when I don't lay it in the first little part correct, that'll happen. But I just keep working with it, and hopefully I have enough teeth to where my darks and my white and my lights will still layer. So while I think about my approach to that, I'll just think around on some of the other details here. Okay, let me see what I'm gonna do with this now. Yeah, I always go back to something that's easier, relaxes me. It gets me back in the flow, not feeling frustrated and feeling like, oh man, I gotta get this. So that's how I handle that. And then, I go back to it and work at it some more. And if I still don't get it, I just keep on going. Because something like the eyes or some very, very important features of a portrait are critical. If you don't get those right, you can't really identify the person. Well, you can. You can get like close resemblance, right? So yeah, I can get that, But so in the rest of this session, I'm just having some fun, just doing some sketching and some painting. That's what the pencils help me do. They actually help me kind of sketch in the concept I'm trying to achieve, and then I could paint it in. You say how it's kind of like, guidelines type of a thing for what I'm going to lay down next, or what I'm laying down. I tell you one thing with doing this piece, I am really getting a feel for how to handle the pan pastels by themselves. Yeah, I think I will try to do a piece with them again, just the pan pastels, but I think the still life a scenic piece. Or I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to do a kind of foresty lake scene, something with a forest and a lake in it, something like that. I've been wanting to do something like that, and but I haven't grabbed any references for it. Meaning I haven't shot any references for it. I was out when I went out. I saw some fields and things, but I haven't really passed or gone to where there's a forest area. You know, I know I can get a lot of references online. You know, if I want to, but I really like to. That's one thing I really like to do is utilize my own references the most I can. But early on, I used to use that was maybe 85. I would say maybe 90% of the pieces I did was online references where I would go and get a photo off of Google search images and grab a photo and then paint it. A lot of the the YouTube people, they give you photos that that you could trace and do that stuff. You know, and really truly that is really truly an excellent way to start off. It's not quite. I don't know if you've ever done as a child and like painting by numbers. It's not that. It's not painting by numbers, but it has a similar concept to it, meaning that meaning that it just has the same format, meaning that it eliminates having to worry about proportions. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm getting a little tired. Whew. I'm back using the brushes again. The pencils. I had to get away. I was struggling with the eyes. I'm slowly working them in because what was happening, I wasn't getting that. I was looking for this arc that you see in the eyes, and so I was looking for that arc. And one of the main things is my proportions aren't totally accurate. They're kind of exaggerated in some cases. But I always like to try to exaggerate the reference, meaning like the head is tilted back. I really wanted it to really look like it was doing a little bit more. And so in order to do that, I have to do some foreshortening. And sometimes with me, I get into the piece, so I'm working on the shapes that are there, but I'm not looking at the rest of them sometimes. And I build it, and I'll build it to the left or to the right or up and down, with respect to the rest of the surrounding pieces like eyes and nose and mouth and stuff like that. So that's what's happening. So I'm inching it in. I'm doing some tinkering up close. I'm not recording that part because I want to really get in there, and I don't have a camera angle for that. And so I'm inching in to try to get the eyes exactly to where they should be, and the proportions relatively correct. I'm just hoping I'm not layering too much where I can't get that, because I still need to be able to have enough teeth to layer some lights and darks combination. Like if the dark go down, the lights need to be able to go over it, and vice versa. So I want to be careful of that, and hopefully I don't run into that issue. But anyway, that's where we are. I'm getting ready to stop. Getting a little tired. Hope you're enjoying this, even though I'm not saying a lot, because I'm really thinking a lot about what's going on, and the direction that it's going, and what I'm running into as I do the piece. That's what I'm going what's going through my mind, and I'm trying to make them corrections as I go along. And with the recording process, I'm pausing when I sit back to think about it, well and good. But sometimes I get something I want to do or try or implement right away, and so I'll get into it, and then later on I want to think about, oh, here I want to pause again, and I hadn't even resumed it. So you're gonna see some of that. If you haven't already seen it, I'm trying to think about. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a session. That's it for this one. Creating Art Over 70 with Sign Rufus. Blessing. Painting with a Passion. See you in the next session.